Welcome to Prana Fictitious Stories. Before we begin today's story, we would like to make a small request. Please subscribe to our new channel and support us. Your support will inspire us to bring even more original and unique stories. So, without further delay, let's start today's story. A Love Like War, a tale of tension, possession, and unspoken confessions. You know, Karen's voice was smooth, too smooth, as if he were masking something beneath the surface. I was just passing by, thought I'd check in on you. Arav leaned back slightly against the cool office balcony railing, eyeing Karen with a mix of suspicion and familiarity. Check in on me? He arched a brow. Karen, you're not the type to do casual check-ins. Karen smirked. Maybe I've changed. Changed? The deep voice cut through the tension like a blade, Raghav. He was standing at the entrance now, arms crossed, eyes sharp. You don't change, Karen. You just adapt. For a moment, the air between them felt heavy, as if the entire city below had gone silent, waiting. Arav shifted uncomfortably, caught between two storms brewing right in front of him. Karen exhaled sharply, shoving his hands into his pockets. Look, I don't have time for riddles, Raghav. My concern is Arav, not some pointless rivalry you keep pushing. Raghav's jaw clenched. Pointless? He stepped forward, his presence dark and commanding. Pointless would be pretending you're here just for Arav's well-being when we both know damn well that's not true. Arav frowned. Guys, what's going on? You're both acting strange. Silence. And then Karen sighed. Arav, his voice softened just a little. I need to talk to you. Alone. Raghav's body went rigid. That's not happening. Karen turned to him, and in that moment, the tension became unbearable. Their eyes locked, two alpha predators ready to fight over the same prey. Arav, for the first time, felt like he was truly at the center of something. Dangerous. Before he could speak, Raghav reached out, fingers lightly grazing Arav's wrist, just enough to make him freeze. I won't let him manipulate you. His voice was low, almost a whisper, but every word carried weight. Karen's gaze dropped to where Raghav's hand lingered. The muscles in his jaw tensed. Is that what you think this is? His voice darkened. Manipulation? Arav's heart was pounding. What the hell was this? He wasn't naive. He wasn't blind. But this was different. This wasn't just tension between two rivals. This was possession. Two powerful men, both circling him like he was the one thing they couldn't afford to lose. And the worst part? He wasn't sure he wanted to be lost. You know, it all started with just a simple invitation. A cup of coffee. That's all Karen asked for. But the moment those words left his lips, why don't we go out for coffee? Something shifted. Raghav's jaw clenched. His body leaned toward Arav instinctively, possessively, like a silent claim. His voice, low, sharp, dangerous. Arav doesn't need to go anywhere, Karan. He's perfectly fine right here. And just like that, the air in the room grew heavy. The tension, unbearable. Karan's smile didn't waver, but his eyes, they burned with challenge. I think Arav knows what he wants. His tone was calm, almost casual, but the unspoken battle between them was anything but friendly. Arav, caught between them, quickly stepped in. I'm not going anywhere tonight, Karan. I have work to finish. Karan's smile lingered, but this time something flickered in his gaze, something possessive, something unsettling. As you wish, he murmured. And then, just like that, he was gone. The door clicked shut, silence settled. Arav turned to Raghav, curiosity laced in his voice. Everything okay, Raghav? For a moment, Raghav just stood there, breathing deep, his eyes unreadable. And then, softly, I don't like anyone else getting close to you. Arav's brows knitted. What do you mean? Raghav met his gaze, something dark flashing in his eyes, but then he smirked, shrugging it off. Nothing. Let's focus on work. But Arav wasn't convinced. Not after what he had just seen, and he was right. Because later that night, in the dim glow of a quiet cafe, the tension between them still hung thick in the air. The slow strum of music played in the background, soft and melancholic. The warm glow of hanging lights flickered over empty tables. It was the perfect place for an open conversation. But neither of them spoke. Raghav stirred his coffee, staring into the cup as if lost in thought. Arav traced patterns on the table absent-mindedly, and then the door creaked open. Footsteps, steady, confident. And there he was, Karan. His sharp eyes scanned the cafe before landing on them, and the moment he did, a smile, dangerous and knowing, spread across his lips. He walked over slowly. Arav, you didn't tell me you were coming here. His voice was low, smooth, but there was something underneath it. Something off. Raghav didn't even blink. He didn't think it was necessary, he replied, voice rough but eerily calm. Arav swallowed. The air between them was thick, the kind of tension that made it hard to breathe. Karen cocked his head, smirking. Sitting here alone, huh? Looks a little strange. But it wasn't Arav he was looking at, no. His eyes were locked onto Raghav. Arav, trying to keep the peace, gave a small smile. No, I'm not alone. Karen's smirk deepened. I thought you were smarter than that. The words were soft, but they cut deep. Raghav, still composed, leaned forward. His gaze was razor sharp. Arav doesn't need permission. Karen's smile turned sharp. Dangerous. Let's see how long that lasts. And with that, he turned on his heel and walked out. But the second he was gone, Arav turned to Raghav, confused. Sir, is everything okay? Raghav's eyes didn't leave the door, his voice steady. No, everything is not okay. Karen's intentions, they don't feel right. Arav frowned. But why? I don't understand. Raghav's gaze finally met his, and in that moment there was something raw there, something vulnerable. Whatever this is, Arav, it's complicated, and it will never be easy. Arav's heart thumped. Before he could ask more, the door swung open. Karen was back. But this time he didn't come straight to their table. No, he stood by the counter, watching, waiting. His gaze burned into Arav as if he were silently claiming something. Raghav followed his stare before looking back at Arav. His voice was soft but firm. This needs to end. Arav blinked. What do you mean? Raghav inhaled deeply. What Karan is doing, this isn't friendship. His intentions are different. Arav's breath caught. He looked away, unsure. And that's when Raghav said it. So Arav, what do you want? Silence. Arav met his gaze. His lips parted. I don't know. His voice was barely a whisper. Raghav leaned closer, his eyes searching. Some things aren't easy, Arav, especially the ones that are connected to the heart. Arav's heartbeat thundered in his chest, because suddenly it hit him. This wasn't just about work. This wasn't just about Karen. This was about something deeper, something dangerous. And the moment he realized it, a wave of memories crashed over him. The stolen glances, the lingering touches, the way Raghav always knew what he needed before he even said it. And Karen, always watching, always waiting. Arav wasn't blind. He knew what Raghav was implying, and it scared him, because suddenly, it wasn't just a game anymore. It was real. And for the first time, Arav wasn't sure if he was ready for the truth, because the truth was dangerous. And no matter what happened next, nothing would ever be the same again. And there you have it.